Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking to Aaron Chernow again. Aaron, great to see you. CEO Brightwing, and you've been in the recruiting business for 26 years. So I'm looking forward to diving in and talking about recruiting. I think this is a very hot topic, and it is something that I think is at the top of everybody's mind right now as they are looking to grow their company. We have this looming recession, and some are experiencing the recession in many ways right now. But maybe we can dive into who's hiring right now.
Yeah, great to see you, John.
Yeah,
it's the employment market is on everyone's mind, and it is interesting that since February of 2020, businesses that have 250 or more employees have a 800,000 net reduction in hiring.
Wow.
Whereas those 250 below hired almost 4 million people.
Wow.
So it's definitely, we see the trends moving from large corporations to smaller organizations.
That 4 million. I'm curious, and I don't know if you know this piece of it, but if you do, we can chat about it. When those 4 million are hired, what's the average retention percentage and term these days for an employee? You know, there's a lot of studies out there that talk about the millennial and the Gen Z generation are staying at jobs 2 or 3 years, and it's sometimes, you know, when I'm talking to companies, they're actually prepped for that. You know, they're actually hiring knowing that this person may leave and evolve to something new. But what are you seeing in the market?
Yeah, I think that's pretty consistent with what we see. That desire to learn and grow, and then the willingness to look for something else, I think is definitely. We see that more in Gen Z than we had in previous generations. We look for, I think maybe a better tell of that is someone that has been out of college or out of university for a particular number of years. So what we see is they do their jumping maybe in the first 2 to 4 years, because they really aren't sure whether their profession or whatever they decided to go into is the right one.
Yeah.
So what we see is, because we hire individuals that have no experience in the recruiting and staffing business, and we train our own folks here. And so we've done that for roughly 20 years. And in the last 5 or 6 years, we've focused on individuals that had anywhere between 3 and 4 years of experience in the real world.
I like that. That's good to kind of dive into and understand that. You know, one of the things, Aaron, I always recommend to clients that I'm working with is, as long as you hire great, just have that person create a playbook so when they do leave, it's easier to train the next person up.
Right.
But let's talk about, you know, because to me, recruiting is something that I think every company should be doing all the time. And I'm a big fan of companies having a recruiter like yourself, no differently than they have an attorney and an accountant, because it's something that I think succession planning is every role, not just a C-level plan any longer. And so talk a little bit about, you know, why a recruiter, right? Why, you know, the benefits of a recruiter. Think community. The reason I'm asking Aaron this question is because I think there's a lot of people who are kind of in a do-it-yourself mode, and that's a way, but there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to recruiting to hire great that I believe recruiters can really, really help. So can you kind of chat about that for a second?
Recruiters are even more important than a good accountant or a good attorney.
As is a business coach. I'll just throw that in there. But go ahead.
And I say that because hopefully you don't need your accountant and or attorney often.
Yeah.
However, I think every entrepreneur's focus at some point, and their job should always be is top grading for their organization.
Mm-hmm.
No truer than when we are looking at the possibility of a recession, and you have the ability to find individuals now that may be better and more efficient and more effective than those that you currently have within your organization. One thing that we see with a lot of our customers is when they lose an employee and they bring another one on, they always say to us, this individual is so much more productive than our last individual in the position. And I think that is because organizations get comfortable in the people that they have working for them, and that opportunity for consistent performance plans and performance growth sometimes goes by the wayside when a entrepreneur or a business owner has to focus on so many other things.
Yeah.
So I've always felt like that is, as a entrepreneur, that is one of my jobs that I consistently do, which is look for individuals for every part of our organization. And we actually have a recruiter that works full time for our business, looking for salespeople and recruiters in the recruiting business. So
Great.
we don't just use our recruiters that are looking for finance professionals or IT professionals. We never wanted to be the cobbler's kids. When we wanted to look for a position, we wanted to have at maximum a 45-day turnaround time in finding a good candidate. And so we understood that anything more than that, you're really losing a lot of productivity from that position, and you're losing out in a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, it's great. Well said. Let me ask you a question. Let's talk about proactive recruiting versus reactive recruiting. Sometimes it seems to me like so many people, so many companies are so behind, real time when it comes to hiring. And so they hire out of being desperate. And so they don't always hire great, they hire okay. And
Right.
and to me, okay is just, is just asking for a big headache. And so how should companies be thinking from your perspective, Aaron, on how to be proactive with recruiting so they really hire great and don't settle?
Yeah. So I love that the dichotomy between reactive and proactive, because in a reactive mode, your candidate pool is specific to that time frame. And
Right.
so if you have 10 individuals within that candidate pool, you're really your odds of finding the right person is specific to 10 people. And so it's 1 out of 10. Now, if you are proactive and you have spoke to 100 people within the previous year, then you have a lot better of a chance in looking at all 100 people to find that perfect candidate that not only fits the technical skills of the position, but probably more importantly, your core values and your cultural values for your organization. And I think that's the opportunity. However, that transition from reactive to proactive is very intentional and needs to be intentional.
Yeah.
You don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to lose 5 pounds, and tomorrow you lose 5 pounds. It just doesn't happen that way. I wish it did.
Yeah.
I would say.
Right. Right. It'd be easier.
Yeah.
All right, good. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I want to talk about you, the entrepreneur. You talk a little bit about how your company has a recruiter looking as you guys continue to grow and scale. But here we are. It's 2023. We're in a post-COVID world. We're in a bit of a flex and hybrid world. How is entrepreneurial, the entrepreneurial, path of yours evolved and grown?
Yeah.
today versus, versus yesterday, and how are you infusing that into the growth of your business?
Yeah. So we just had our annual planning session and our annual meeting this last week with our staff, and I think in the last couple of years, if you haven't understood that you can't control everything, then you probably need to see more psychiatry, because the world has shown us that there are so many things that have come at us as entrepreneurs, and that need to control things has been replaced by the impossibility of controlling and seeing what has come down the pipe in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I think the control factor for me was the result of probably a fear of things happening. And that's why I, felt that need to control. In the last 2 years, I feel like I have come to grips that you can't control anything. You can control who you hire. You can control what you allow them to do and their trajectory. You can control their growth, and you can control the time that you spend with them. And everything else you can't sweat.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I agree. I think everybody hopefully they remember how to be flexible and how to pivot and how to understand what they can control and what they can't control in their days. Quick speed round. A book that's had the biggest impact on you in recent years.
Oh,
it can be a book, an article, a TED Talk, whatever you want.
Yeah. So there. Oh, you know what? It was a great TED Talk on connecting with people that I just saw, and I can't remember the gentleman's name. I will send it to you though. He was a magician, and he gave a TED Talk on connecting with people. And what else do magicians do than connect with individuals in a really quick period of time? Yeah. And he told the story of him going into a venue and going through some of the tables in the venue and coming up to a table where the gentleman said, he said, "Would you like to see some magic?" And the gentleman said, "Well, I would love to, but I am blind." And the magician said, "Well, if you give me some time, I will come up with a trick that you can take part in." So fast forward, 2-3 weeks later, the magician comes in, and he actually forgot that he had promised to figure out a trick for this gentleman. And he went up to the table and said hello. And the gentleman said, "Oh, I'm waiting. Where is your trick?" And he had to think really, really quick. Yeah. And he thought back to his early days of being a magician, and he remembered a trick of whether the card was a diamond or a heart, or whether it was a spade and a give me the other one, spade, black, and it was either red or black.
Yeah.
And so he performs a trick, and this gentleman's wife is sitting right next to him, and he goes to the deck and he flips one over and he says to the gentleman, "Is it red or black?" And he said, "It's black." And it was black. Next one, "Is it red or black?" Black. "Is it red or black?" Red. "Is it red or black?" Red. He got everyone right. And his wife is sitting there, and she is in tears, just how happy she is. And it was the best trick she ever saw. And this gentleman was unbelievable. And he said, I feel like each time I have to figure out a way to connect with individuals. And he said,
Yeah.
this is the power of connection that magic has. And so what he did was, when he first sat down, he said to the gentleman, and he sat right across from him, and he said, I am going to pick a card out. And he said, you either tell me if it's black, and he tapped his shoe once. And he said, or if it's red, and he's tapped his shoe twice. And then he said, do you understand the directions? I'm going to just tell them to you again. One is black, and he tapped it. And he said, that is the power of connecting with individuals. And I think that for me, that moment of being in the moment with people, where you're not thinking about anything other than connecting with an individual. And he spoke of listening with the intent to listen and not to respond. And I just thought that was brilliant. So
I love it. I love it. Is it Aaron? Is it How to Magically Connect with Anyone with Brian Miller?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Really. And I'm glad you brought that up. It was, my chief operating officer had spent, he said, maybe 4 hours on TED Talks, and finally found the right video that spoke on connection.
Yeah, I just Googled it while you were talking, but I've never seen this one. I can't wait to watch it, but I appreciate you sharing. That was awesome. Aaron, tell everybody who your ideal client is and how they can connect with you.
Yeah, we work with any organization that is frustrated by their inability to find talent that fits not only the skill set of the position, but more importantly, the culture of their organization. We specialize in IT, engineering, finance, accounting, marketing, and HR. We provide both contingent placement and staffing services in all those technical specialties.
Awesome. Think community. I'm a business coach. I work with successful people who are stuck. I get them unstuck. And what I love about this podcast is I can talk to guests like Aaron that can help you get unstuck in your thinking. Today, we talked about recruiting and the importance of recruiting. Aaron, you shared a ton of great things, but I want to just extract a few of those in quick summary, which is one, being intentional in everything that you are doing, not only in business, but specifically recruiting. Be in alignment with your core values, control what you can control, and most importantly, the power of listening. Aaron, thanks. This was great. Always enjoy catching up. We'll have to have you on more regularly because recruiting is something that people need to do it the right way. And they're going to need it more often as we kind of, walk through the next couple of years. Think community, again, Aaron, tell them how they can connect with you.
Yeah, Aaron at gobrightwing.com. Send me an email.
All right.
Look me up on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Awesome. And if you need me, johndwoskin.com. Aaron, that was great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.